Fox 61, Connecticut's news station, starts with a weather impact alert.
Well, right now at 6, a record-breaking day for heat in our area. State experts, health experts say any prolonged time outside in this could lead to several risks to your health. Thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. This is now our third day in a row of hitting temperatures in the 90s, meaning we're in a heat wave. Some cities even hit 100 degrees today.
Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank joins us now. Rach, this is not the kind of early summer weather we're used to. In fact, you've been talking about how rare it is to hit 100 degrees during June.
Yeah, absolutely. It's because of the water temperature. It's only 72 degrees, so it is tough to see, but we did it today. Hartford, Meriden, Chester, all at the century mark. 95 today, the high temperature in Waterbury. We are down from the high temperature, so it is not as hot, but yeah, we're still sweating out there. In the Hartford area, 99 degrees breaks the old record of 94. We also broke the record at the shoreline. The Hartford area climate site is Windsor Locks, so not quite 100 there, even though we got there in the city. So 3 days down in the 90s. We've got one more day to go of the heat, of the humidity, before temperatures cool back down again as we head into Thursday. So again, tomorrow, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m., that's when it could feel like triple digits or higher. Here's a look at current temperatures in the mid 90s to near 100 degrees, and the heat index is well over that and into the triple digits. Low temperatures tonight will fall back into the 70s, and then we do it all over again tomorrow. But yes, just for one more day. We'll explain your full forecast and the changes ahead coming up.
All right, Rach, thank you. And so it is that time of year when just about the only thing you can do to escape the heat is to get inside where there's air conditioning.
But not having a working AC unit is one of the biggest issues people face at home and at work during the summer months.
Now, Fox 61's Jamel Johnson spoke to one HVAC contractor who says there are things you can do to prepare for heat waves like this.
Being outside in this heat wave feels like a snowman in the summer. And the last thing you want to happen in this heat is for your air conditioner to break. I spoke with one HVAC expert who has advice on how to avoid melting in our own homes. Phones are ringing off the hook at HARP Home Services in Windsor. But with the heat wave, Matt LaCroix says he's not surprised.
Since Friday, we've received over 825 calls for no cooling situations. And we've ran, I want to say, upwards of between 400 and 500 of them so far.
One of the culprits of these broken ACs is the extreme heat wave and the temperatures in the upper 90s.
They're really designed to operate with an ambient temperature at 90 degrees outside. So this is really a high demand for them.
LaCroix says his company is seeing a pattern problem from overworked air conditioners.
One of the most common issues are clogged drains, which routine maintenance can help prevent. One of the other most popular service calls we get is a no AC situation that's due to a clogged air filter.
LaCroix says his company sees a lot of AC units that are past their lifespan.
We do get a high volume of systems that are, well over 15 years old, that with the average life expectancy of a system between 12 and 16 years, we definitely get a lot of the older systems.
And despite what some people might think, turning your AC off while you're gone to save money isn't recommended.
It will significantly increase your energy bill by trying to offset it to a higher temperature and then coming home and trying to get it down. It'll definitely overwork itself and be more prone to a breakdown.
While a lot can go wrong, LaCroix says there are things we can do to help ease the stress on our units.
And just set it at a steady, comfortable temperature. With this heat, systems really are designed to maintain about 20 degrees below the outdoor temperature. Do your best to change your air filters every 30 days and just, again, be patient with the system.
Matt LaCroix says that you need to be proactive and get your AC units checked at least once a year, especially for older units. This way you can know when parts need to be repaired or changed out so they don't cause bigger problems down the line. In Windsor, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
Jamel, thanks. And we've been talking about the state's extreme hot weather protocol now in place. And while it gives people more options for shelter from the heat, the protocol goes beyond housing. Under the protocol, the state's emergency services are using a specialty communications network to share information about situations and conditions. This network is also used for real-time updates on which cooling centers are open and where they are. The network is the first step for emergency management personnel when towns or cities ask the state for help. And energy utility companies can also access the network to update heat impacts on utilities across the state.
Even with these resources, the heat can have a major impact on people who work outside. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, about a third of workers are exposed to outdoors regularly. Connecticut does not have its own specific laws to protect workers whose jobs put them outside in the heat. However, OSHA does require employers to make sure their workplace is free from hazards or anything that can cause death or serious injury. And heat stress is considered one of those hazards. The forest fire danger level is also high right now. That's across the whole state. The Department of Energy and Environmental Protection says make sure you completely put out anything you light up, from campfires to cigarettes. If you have a burn permit and are within 100 feet of grassland or woodland, you won't be allowed to use it. And stay with us here on Fox 61 during the heat wave for information on cooling centers, to the forecast and the changing conditions. You can find everything you need to stay safe at fox61.com or the free Fox 61 News app.
More witnesses took the stand today in the murder trial of Raul Valley. He's accused of stabbing 17-year-old James McGrath to death and injuring 3 others in May of 2022. Fox 61's Alicia Hercules is in Milford with today's developments from the courtroom.
Witnesses who were stabbed at the party took the stand. They recounted the terrifying moments from that night and say they are now scarred mentally and physically.
And he looked at me and then he proceeded to, at the time I thought he was punching me in the leg, which he was stabbing me.
Thomas Connery testified in court that he was stabbed at least 4 times by Raul Valley. Connery says he saw Valley fighting another student. He says he mistook the student for his brother and jumped in to fight Valley, who also goes by the nickname Lido.
I ran over from the mulch pile into that fight. And then as that happened, I went to the far left, which was Ryan Hines was standing, and I pushed him and Lido were going at it at that moment. I pushed him and Lido away from each other, but I ended up taking his place. So now it was Lido and me face to face with each other.
After he was stabbed, he says he fell to the ground and realized James McGrath was also injured.
He was standing there by himself and I was like, "Jimmy, are you okay?" And there was no response, but he slowly pulled up his shirt to see that he had a blood coming out. And as I looked at that, I was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And there was no response. And he collapsed to the floor. Connery
says he's now left with a deformed quad more than 2 years after the incident.
It's deformed. There's no lower left part of the quad.
So do you look at yourself in the mirror and you look at your legs?
They're very imbalanced, yes.
They're very imbalanced?
Yes, the right one is bigger than the left one.
Faison Teal says he was also stabbed at the party.
Never in a million years would I think, being at one of my best friend's house, I would get stabbed. 3 other of my friends would get stabbed or Jimmy McGrath would die.
Teal says he now suffers from nerve damage from his injuries.
But I did not feel it in my arm for a little bit. It was just numbness. And then for about a year after it all took place, like I could be doing the simplest of things, like going to get a glass of water from the fridge. And my whole arm just like shut down.
Teal says he was also involved in the fight that night. He says he stomped and kicked people during it. When cross-examined, the defense brought up that Teal did not initially tell police he was a part of the fight.
Do you recall telling officers that you participated in kicking and stomping?
I don't recall.
Do you recall talking to the officers?
Yeah.
But you don't recall telling them whether or not you were involved, right?
I don't recall, sir.
Because you didn't tell them that you were involved, right?
I don't recall.
Both Teal and Connery testified that only 3 to 4 people were fighting while others stood and watched. However, the defense suggests that Valley and his friend Tyler De Silva could have been attacked by multiple people at once. 2 medical professionals also testified to the severity of the injuries that Teal and Connery had that night. In Milford, Alicia Hercules, Fox 61.
Thank you, Alicia. A motorcyclist is dead after state police say he crashed into a deer and then was hit by a car. We're told this happened last night in the area of Wooding Hill Road in Bethany. Philip LeBounty was driving down Route 69 when he hit a deer and was thrown from his motorcycle, after which a car driving the opposite direction hit him in the road, killing him. State police are still investigating.
And a motorcycle crash in Lisbon ended with the rider being flown to the hospital in a medical helicopter. It happened around 11 this morning on River Road. And that's where police say a two-car crash involving a motorcycle shut down a portion of the road. We don't know how bad the motorcyclist was hurt. We're told police are still investigating the accident. And this was an unexpected rescue in Bristol. Those are feet sticking out of a chimney of a park building in town. Bristol police say the feet belonged to a man named Carlos Owens. They say Owens admitted to trying to climb in through the chimney before getting stuck, saying he was trying to get to his dog trapped inside. Bristol Fire had to cut open the fireplace to get him out. Owens was then charged with burglary, criminal mischief, and trespassing.
We're learning our first details about a barn fire in Sandy Hook over the weekend. Fire crews say half the barn caught fire. It created quite a lot of thick smoke. The second story ended up collapsing. An excavator pulled apart the building and took out all the flammable things inside. Thankfully, no one was hurt and every animal was accounted for.
A warning here, some of you might find this next story a little hard to hear. Police in Shelton say a dead dog was found in a bag, and now they are looking into how it died and who owned it. They say it was a male French bulldog who was mostly white but had some gray on the left side of its face, and it was not neutered. Police say the dog was left on the stairs of the Little Barn restaurant on Bridgeport Avenue. If you know who the dog might have belonged to, give Shelton Police a call.
A woman accused of firing a gun and starting a fire inside a home in Harwinton has turned herself in to state police. Megan Duncan's charged with threatening and breach of peace. State police say back on June 13th, Megan Duncan set fire to the home on Hill Road while she and her boyfriend were still inside. They say the man told them Duncan was also shooting rifles in the house. Troopers say when they got there, Duncan was acting erratically. Her boyfriend told police she'd also used fentanyl before the fire. She was taken to the hospital. Her boyfriend was not hurt.